Hi, friends. I have an old story to tell you today, but before we can have a story, I need to put together a few things to take to my friend later. She isn't feeling well. Hang on just a minute. I'll be quick. Let's see, what would she like out of what's this? It's a ring. I wondered where that went. What else can we find? Receipt. I wonder what else is in here. A rag. What are these things doing in the refrigerator? You can't eat them. How about, well, you can eat this. How about some rice? Hey, rice, receipt, rag, ring. They all start with R. They're in the refrigerator, which also starts with R. Let's see what else there is. Oh, okay, what's, hang on. Oh, whew. What is this? It's a robe, and that also starts with R.
Little Red Riding Hood loved the color red. Oh my, look at all those red things. Do you see something in your house that's red? Can you point to something red? It's time for our story. I thought we'd tell it outside. This is a story that has been told over and over by lots of people in lots of places for lots of years. It's the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, a little girl lived with her mother in a little cottage in a little village far, far away and long, long ago. The little girl loved to wear this red cape and hood deal she had. It was a cape to keep you warm this way, and attached to it was a hood to keep your head warm. Nowadays, we might just wear a red hoodie, but this was the rage back then, cape and a hood. She wore it so often that people called her Little Red Riding Hood. Well, one day, Little Red Riding Hood was outside picking wildflowers, and her mother called her into the house. Her mother handed her a basket full of good things to eat, and she said, "Sweetie, I would like you to take this through the woods over to Grandmother's house. Granny hasn't been feeling very well, and I know you can cheer her up." What do you suppose could be in that basket? Was it a robot? Were they taking Granny a rhinoceros? Probably not. How about a rabbit? All those things start with R. What do you think you would put in a basket to cheer somebody up? Maybe a good book? Maybe you could draw them a picture? Maybe something yummy to eat? Well, anyway, Little Red Riding Hood grabbed that basket up and she was getting ready to run out the door when her mother said, "Missy, come back here. Before you go, we have to talk about a couple of rules. I know that you know the way to Granny's house. We've been there a lot, but you've never gone by yourself. You must remember to go straight there and back. No playing around and no talking to strangers." Little Red Riding Hood said, "Absolutely, I promise. I'll see you later, Mom." And she scooted out the door and she ran up to the path, down the path, and through the woods. Well, my friends, Little Red Riding Hood was in a great mood. She was having a great time. She was dancing and skipping and humming a little tune. She was so excited to get to see her granny. And she was kind of excited to be doing such a grown-up thing all on her own. Hey, that sounds like fun. Why don't you take a minute? Pretend you're Little Red Riding Hood and you're in a great mood, feeling terrific, and you're singing and dancing and skipping through the woods. Take a minute. I'll wait. Okay, come on back. Let's see what happened. Well, she came to a clearing, is what happened, and that's where not so many trees were growing and the sunshine could get down in, and so there were wild flowers growing all over, and she loved those flowers, so she decided to pick a bouquet of flowers for Grandma. What was one of the rules her mother gave her? Do you remember? Her mother said to go straight there and straight back and no playing around. And here she was. She stopped, was messing around picking flowers. Would you have done that? I hope not. I wouldn't have done it, but she did. So, while she was picking flowers, and she took her time too, who do you think came up beside her? A kangaroo? No. A zebra? A lamb? A unicorn? I just wanted to put a unicorn in there. I like unicorns. It was none of those things. It was the big bad wolf. But he wasn't acting big and bad. He was being very friendly, very smiley. So the wolf said, "Well, hello. What's your name? What are you doing out here in the woods by yourself?"
Uh-oh.
Well, what did Mother say about talking to strangers? She said not to, didn't she? So Little Red Riding Hood could have said, "Oh, have a great day. Excuse me, must be off." And she could have just kept going to Granny's, or even turned around and ran back to her mother. But no. The wolf was smiling and acting really friendly, so she said, "My name is Red Riding Hood, and I'm so excited because I get to go through the woods all by myself. I've never done that before, but my granny isn't feeling well, so my mother gave me this basket of goodies to take to her. We're hoping it will cheer her up. And anyway, so I'm going along, and well, Mom said to go straight there and back, but I saw these flowers, and I know Granny would love some flowers, so I thought I'd pick some just quickly. And anyway, I should probably get going. And, well, Mom said not to talk to strangers, but you know what? You're not really a stranger, are you? Because you already know my name. That makes us friends."
Oh, no.
Well, her mother had told her not to talk to strangers. Here she was, not just talking to a stranger, but blabbering on about anything that she could think of. I wouldn't have done that. She promised not to. Would you have done that? Well, she did. Well, you know what happened. The wolf said, "Well, it's been nice meeting you, and you're right, we are friends." And he took off through the woods a different way. He took a shortcut, and he got to Granny's house before Little Red Riding Hood got there. So he went up to the door, and he knocked. And Granny said, "Who is it?" And the wolf said, "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood, your sweet granddaughter." Well, Granny's hearing wasn't too great, so she said, "Well, come on in, dear." Well, the wolf barged through the door, and he snatched Granny up out of that bed, and he threw her in a closet. and he stuffed a sock in her mouth, and he shut the door. He wanted to keep her quiet. That's what the sock was for. Then he went through her dresser. He found a nightgown, pulled it on over his head, looked at himself, thought he didn't look that bad. So then he grabbed a cap to cover his ears, and he grabbed Granny's glasses that were beside the bed, and he put them on his nose, and he climbed in under the covers just in time to hear Little Red Riding Hood knocking at the door. The wolf said, "Who is it?" Little Red Riding Hood said, "It's me, Granny." "Well, come on in, sweetie." And so Little Red Riding Hood went in, and she went up to the bed. So Little Red Riding Hood went to the edge of the bed. She set her basket down, and she said, "Oh, Granny, what big ears you have." And the wolf, or Granny, said, "The better to hear you with, my dear." "But, Granny, what big eyes you have." "The better to see you with, my dear." "But, Granny, what big teeth you have." "The better to eat you, my dear." And that hungry, mean old wolf jumped out of the bed, and he ran, chasing Little Red Riding Hood around the room, who was screaming her head off, "Help, help, help." Well, Granny was in the closet. She got that sock out of her mouth. She burst through the door, and she and Little Red Riding Hood chased that wolf all the way out of the house. And he ran over the hill, and he never bothered them again. Well, okay, some people say that a woodsman who was working in the woods, chopping down trees and stuff, heard Little Red Riding Hood's cries for help, and he came and rescued her. And that might have happened. But I also think it's kind of fun to think that Granny and Little Red Riding Hood got themselves out of trouble. You can tell it however you want. Well, there is a lesson to this story, however you decide to end it. Follow safety rules, right? And keep your promises. Thumbs up, wiggle your fingers, wiggle them way up high, clap, 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 and wave goodbye. This has been a lot of fun. See you next time.